Well, people, what's going on, man? Welcome back to another episode of Goat Talk. Today we here with a very special guest, man. My guy, man, my guy. We've been working on trying to get this one brewed up for y'all for a little bit. I think y'all definitely gonna enjoy this today. So before we dive into the questions, man, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Let them know, what you do, and then we'll dive into it.
Man, well, I'm GodKing June. That's GodKingJune. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I got a clothing brand. I'm an artist. So we do a few different things, but most things is, we're trying to brand our likeness out here.
Yep, no, for sure. Man. That's always a big aspect of it for sure, man, because no matter what you're doing, people got to know about you if you want to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Branding and promotion and marketing and stuff like that is definitely should be at the top of the list for everybody for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it, man. We're gonna start off like with your origin and your mindset and things like that. So growing up in the bottoms of Virginia, man, without a car, what did that environment teach you about hunger?
It really taught me resilience, man. That, if you really, really want something, you might have to go through a bunch of unconventional ways to get there. But if you keep your eyes on the prize, if you never, I would say never give up on yourself, you're gonna be able to achieve what you would like, what you want, what you set out to do. You know what I mean? It's like struggle breeds character. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
know, when you struggle, it teaches you a valuable lesson in life that you may can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that because I always say, man, the best teacher is life experiences. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Going through the things that we go through, meeting the people that we meet helps shape us and helps us become stronger for what we need to be in the future,
That's a
Um,
fact.
so when did you decide or when did you find out, when did it dawn upon you that you were destined for more?
Man, since probably back as far back as I can remember, man, I've always had a very unconventional mind state. You know, I never wanted to be conformed into society. Even as a kid, I thrived in my own settings, doing my own thing and, challenging the status quo. Everybody says it's this, go to high school, go to college, they have these one, two, threes about life. But I've learned that, sometimes you gotta go through the road less traveled, you know, to really find the greatest successes in life. And for me, that was going to the Marine Corps. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, everybody's path is different. You know what I'm saying? What matters is that you still become the person you need to be on the backside of things. So
I feel this. I feel you can't become that person if you don't go through like, I honestly feel like, I wouldn't be the person I was without every step of the journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything was different, I wouldn't be this person today. If anything was different.
right. No, I agree. I understand that. That's the same way I kind of think about things. So actually, why the name God King June? Like, what does that identity represent for you?
Okay, well, that's like all right. So now we get into like theory, right? The theory of like people and understanding the world and how it's created and how it seems to be everything moves, right? Oh, it started off being like, I'm a person, I got a three-part name. I got a first name, a middle name, a last name. And then I'm like, okay, boom, I got a mother, a father, and then there's me. That's another three-part connection. And then I'm like, damn, the sun, the moon, the earth. It's another three-part connection. And then I just went around drawing these three-part connections and understanding like these is what make up who you are. So like when your parents give you your name, they are directing your life into a direction and giving you persona and traits that, you might not even ask for, but this just gonna come with the name. Like, certain names gonna bring certain mantras, so to speak, right? Because there's so much power in what we say and what we do as people. I developed God King June because God comes first in my life and before me. So I want to put him in the front of everything that I was doing. And the way I can big up God is to always be able to say his name. You know what I mean? So every time you say me, you say him. We are one in divine. I'm the son of my creator. You know what I mean? And being a king, that's a mind frame.
Mhm.
Understanding, I'm not petty and I'm not belittled in my thought processes. My thought processes are vast, like kingdoms. And then June was basically like, that's like the hottest month. Summer really starts in June, if you ask me, but it's like, it's like being the sun almost. So it was that correlation in being, like I said, one of those three-part. those three-part connections.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting, man. I've never heard anybody um go I would say go that deep with their like with their name when they're trying to come up with a moniker for something.
Mhm.
So that's definitely interesting. I like that. I like that.
It's
That shows.
important, man. It's like naming a child, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's important what you want. Because whatever I say I am, that's what I am. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
that's what God means I am. So whatever I say I am, I am.
Right. Fact.
So that, like, I'm on this world, I'm God to myself. And whatever I say I am, I am. I could bring that to fruition in reality. So I was very particular in what I wanted to put out into the universe. You know what I'm saying? As far as like what I would want someone to deem me as,
Mhm.
you
Right.
know?
I agree. I agree. I like that. All right. So you say that ambition is what dreams are made of. Where did that philosophy
Hmm.
come from for you?
Out of thin air, really, man. Everything in my life that I wanted to be as a kid, somehow I've been able to fall into that pathway. And, being as old as I am, like, I've been able to fall into that pathway. Everything I dreamed about, I've done it. So in that instances, it's like, I've only been able to do these things because, instead of waiting for opportunity, I went to seek opportunity. You know what I mean? So my ambition is what was able to lead me to be able to follow my dreams and do all the things in my heart, all my heart's desires. And that's basically where it is.
Okay. Okay. So like what does getting it out the mud mean to you personally? Not just the cliche version. What does it mean to you?
Getting it out the mud means to me personally being self ever evolving. Anybody who can get it out the mud, they can fall, get back up, fall, get back up, fall, get back up. But each time they dust themselves off, they just get a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't never afraid to pivot on the play. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like getting it out the mud is just somebody who's, no matter what gonna happen at the end of the day, they're gonna get to their journey regardless.
I like the way you explain it as far as, what does that mean? Because I mean, I could agree with that, being able to just, constantly keep going no matter what roadblocks are in the way, you constantly keep going, keep pushing. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I like that. I like
When you down to your last, you pushing, it's like no matter what, like we still rolling, like it ain't nothing gonna stop this show.
yeah, not that. That's a fact. Um, so was there a specific moment where you just knew music was your lane?
Nah, nah, I can't say it was. I think maybe when I decided like, some personal things had happened and I decided to like, take it more serious. I think that's when you know, everything really began to, fall more into place and I became more, embedded into the music industry and working my way inside. So nah, not in probably like 2020 when COVID was 2021, I would say, I was like, fuck it, we're gonna do this shit full time. And from there, I could see progress of intent. Right? You know what I'm saying? When you put your mind and your heart and your soul into something and you say, I am going to do something and you do it, how powerful that is in the universe.
Right. No, I agree. I agree. Um, so do you feel like, let's go to your military life just a little bit. How do you feel like being a Marine shaped your discipline in music? Because we know Marines are all about discipline. So how do you feel like that shaped your discipline as far as the music?
Like I said, just resilience, man. Just, remembering where I started at when I was starting to learning to write songs and trying to create music and, went from being like, oh, I want to freestyle and then be like, oh, well, let's learn song structure and find out how it goes and 16s and 12 bars and, 32 bar verses and, 4 bar hooks and 8 bar hooks and 12 bar hooks. And you might pull a little 10 bar hook out of there, when I was learning all of this type of stuff, you know, it just kept me developing in my craft, when I took the time to be like, all right, I ain't gonna curse when I write my music or I ain't gonna curse in the songs and that, I went on and wrote 50, 60, 70 songs, not cursing in the music, it just sharpened me, um, to be, and it's aggressive. I think the Marine Corps made me aggressive. So it made my pen aggressive at times. I can speak. And the things that I speak on are multifaceted, 3 levels. You know what I'm saying? I'm normally speaking it from I seen that, I done that type of vibe.
No, yeah, yeah. So do you feel like your war experience changed your perspective on fame, money, or purpose?
That's a good question.
Because being in something like that is different for everybody. Like they have a different mindset when they go through it. Some people mentally can't even get back right after going through, what I'm saying, war and stuff like that. So, just being able to have somebody that's able to, um, to somewhere seem like they're back in their right mental capacity, you're just kind of curious, to see, what your perspective was on that after going through something.
Well, let me say, all right, so my perspective on fame is like I'm not really, you know, I don't know how I'm not really a big fame person, you know what I'm saying? I can tell how it kinda make people be awkward, especially with a background like mine. I'm not, it kinda gives me pause for concern. But I do enjoy talking to people. Like I enjoy sharing my message. I enjoy um basically passing the shit on. Like you don't gotta go through what I went through to learn the shit that I learned. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta be my friend. We gonna talk. I'm gonna tell you what's going on. Like I'm like, oh, bro, this is, always be aware of this because this shit could save your life. You know what I'm saying? Success, it definitely changed my view on success because success is what you believe that you've done. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be a successful human being if you help people in accidents. So if you see an accident and you get out your car to help, you're a successful person, because it's a good human being. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's what success is. Success is being a good human being and being able to pass strength and knowledge down to your family. Like that's successful. And if you got money to pass down to them, that's good too. But money without the knowledge ain't worth nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's pretty much how I feel about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, it's a good way to see it.
That's a good question though. That was a mind expanding. I never thought about that. I never thought about it like that. Like to be like, oh, how do I feel about success based off of, my experiences in the military? I never.
Yeah. But, it's just, I like to try to cover as many aspects as possible because it's like, you know, um, everybody's been through something that can help somebody else out. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so that's why
Mhm.
I'm big on like asking certain questions. That's why I'm big on when I ask you a question, I let you finish everything that you want to say. If you be long winded about it, I'm not gonna cut you off because you may say something, one little small gem that helps out the next person, and that's how we change the world one person at a time.
No, that's a fact. I appreciate that because I could be, as you can tell, my answers be direct, but then they be kind of expansive and like this.
No, you good, man. At the end of the day, as long as you getting around to answer the question, that's really all that matters. Because I can't tell you how to answer the question. All I can do is ask you the question, and you tell me how you
Facts.
feel. You know what I'm saying? So
Facts.
how you feel about the question. That's the reason we here. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. Present.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, um, let's see. I ain't gonna ask you that one because you kind of touched on that. You mentioned like in your bio the former street life. What lessons from that era did you learn that still help guide you today?
Nothing don't last forever. So you better be sure and smart about your moves that you make now, cause the ripple effects gonna follow through time. You know what I'm saying? Whether they wrong or they right, they gonna follow you through times. You better be 100% about the step that you gonna make and take. For sure.
Okay. All right. How about this?
Mhm.
What is harder, surviving the streets, surviving the industry, or surviving the military?
The streets, because you know in the Marine Corps, I'm at war. I'm fighting for freedom. Not necessarily my own, right? But in the streets, I'm definitely fighting for my own freedom. You know what I'm saying? It's a war against them. Like we ain't getting caught. It's a strategic war on how not to go to jail. Yeah, definitely in the industry. I mean, it ain't. I don't know, man. It ain't. I guess maybe I might be too scarred in the brain. Like I don't really. I ain't never. I ain't tripping about the industry. It's just that ain't nothing that I'm too concerned about it in that manner. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's understandable. That's understandable. Let's see. Let's see. Do you feel like veterans are represented enough in hip hop?
Nah. And because so many, like I just found out the other week, maybe just like last week, that Nate Dogg was a Marine. I just found out. Just reading something, looking up, and I looked it up. It was true facts, and I'm like, damn, that's dope to know. You know what I'm saying? But it's I guess it ain't it's just one of those things, right? It ain't really frowned upon, like, if you was a police officer or something, you know what I'm saying? It's just I guess it's just, like, one of those things, like, "Oh, you used to do that," type of vibe, man. I don't think people really put too much emphasis on it in music.
Yeah, no, they don't. I know I haven't seen it, but I was just kind of curious, because sometimes it's so many artists in the world. It is, it's so many millions of artists that is undiscovered that I don't know about.
Right?
It may be a
Mhm.
whole lane of people pushing that I don't know about. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Me personally, I don't none of the veterans I know do music that I personally know like that. They don't really so I wouldn't but maybe it is though, or maybe that ain't something that they put in you know,
Yeah,
their thing,
yeah.
in
No,
their
that's
jacket.
I got you. I got you. So I got one or two questions about performance. So when people leave a God King June show, how do you want them? Like, what do you feel like your performances make them feel?
That they enjoy them, just that they enjoy them, that they enjoy my stage, my stage presence, my show. You know, if I decide to, make us speak, make us, speak on that night, if they enjoy what I got to say. That's really all it is. I want people to have a good time.
How has performing for years sharpened your confidence?
Man, reps. Just reps. You gotta get your reps up. And it's just like anything else. If you don't get your reps up for a little while, you'll be rusty when you get on the court again. But you gotta get your reps up. Everybody, you wanna make music, you wanna rap, learn how to speak on the microphone. Learn what performance etiquette is. Learn how to hold a microphone properly. Like it's really a job. Like all of this stuff is really a job. It ain't nothing that you scoff at because that's what's gonna get you paid in the end. We talk about those ripple effects through time. That's what's gonna get you paid as an artist is how you put on the show. You know what I'm saying? You could be motherfucking 85 still going arena tours. I ain't put out an album in 30 years. You could be the Ozzy Brothers.
Yeah,
Ain't put out an album in motherfucking 40 years, nigga. You ain't put
yeah,
out
yeah,
nothing, nigga. You get paid, though. You out
yeah,
here still writing hits and
yeah.
doing arenas, nigga. Just like, shit, that's for the paper at. So get them reps in, man. Them reps is what count, man. And I was doing it small stages, 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, still 5 people, 10 people sometimes. It's always just get your reps in. And then you never know who in the house, especially with the industry, because and you could be anywhere and run into somebody that's somebody. That's one thing I've learned about the industry. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be in the city. You could be pretty much anywhere on God's green earth and running into somebody that's somebody, especially if it's an event going on.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay. What emotions do you feel like drive your pen the most? Is it anger, ambition, love, reflection? Like what would be that emotion that drives you to write more?
Oh man, it's the arc. It's the arc of an artist, man. It's the arc of an artist. It's, trial, tribulations, and success. You know, whether it's all in love or, not in love, it's at first when I began to write and make music, it was a reflective process. And then I began to tell reflective stories and mix of my life. And now I'm into wanting to tell chapters, write chapters of, music, so to speak.
Like like as in when you say chapters though, you mean like different chapters of your life, but but in song form?
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, I got a few tapes out, right? Like the first album I ever dropped you know, online was called The Insurgent, right? So I dropped The Insurgent and then, I came back with Pearl City Classics. And that was just like a reflective of 10 years of my life and different shit like that. Then I came with the concept More Rich Than Famous. I derived the stories and different concepts of my life based off of how does it feel to be more rich than famous? You know what I'm saying? Like you asked about fame. Um, you know, I feel like I got more money than I got fame. You know what I'm saying? I got more sense than I got fame. I got more love than I got fame. But, just because I do this doesn't mean I'm looking for fame. I realize, I'm more rich than famous. I ain't tripping about that because it's about the money at the end of the day. It's about the paper. If I never get to the stargazes of stardom, as long as my papers stay long, you
Right. Right.
fuck
Just
it. I won out here. And I won
yeah.
with this shit. And and that's just it. I try to just derive these stories and come up with different things and different concepts and um, even sometimes movies and shit like that will spark a song. That's what I feel like. That's what I feel good about art. When something small like, watching the mailman pull up and drop the mail off spark a song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's when you know you in that creative bag for real.
yeah, yeah. So I feel like, it's the creative arc of, all artists, we want to just speak the truth from start to finish when we creating. You know what I'm saying? So it's that arc. I want to be impersonable, personable, honest, spiritual, right? Because, we got to add those elements in the music and in the art, right? You know what I'm saying? We don't know no great art that ain't have God in the middle of it,
Got a point.
So
Got a point.
that's just what I be shooting for.
Okay. So you mentioned more rich and famous. That was the next set of questions I had. I want to talk about that. So
Okay, let's roll.
you kinda answered two of the questions, but so I'm gonna ask these other couple. Is there a record on that album that defines you the best?
Yes, yes, it's Niggas Ain't Me. That's the record that defines me the best. It defines how I feel about myself when I'm outside and I'm walking around in public. Like I really feel this way. Like it's really godlike arrogance. I had a friend tell me the other day, he was like, dog, you playing so bad right now, nigga. I've never seen a nigga with this much confidence and keep playing bad. How do you do it? How do you keep your confidence so high? I'm like, nigga, cause I don't, nigga, what you mean?
Yeah.
A bad shot, I shot one? You won or something? Like we had some money on the line or something. Like I didn't know it was that serious for me to care enough about the fucking shot. You know what I'm saying? It's a delusional arrogance about like, you know. But this is who I am though. I feel like I'll survive.
Yeah, it
A well crafted, crazy life. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to survive that and still, like you said, attain to my same mind. And that's what we all should want to do.
yeah, no, facts, facts, facts. Okay, was there anything that you learned about yourself while making that project? Like the whole album?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I learned it's hard it's harder to record myself than I thought.
Mhm.
'Cause I recorded most of the album myself. And it was harder to mix and record that shit myself.
Yeah. 'Cause you want that perfection and you keep on, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
keep on
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I know some people who know how to give me that perfect thing. And I was like, well, we're gonna try this for myself and see what and see how it come out. I like it, but yeah, yeah. I wish I would have, you know. Sometimes I wish I would just been like, "Fuck it, we're gonna go do the whole track at a out, at a studio."
right, right,
And when
right.
it laid it
Yeah.
down like that,
I definitely understand that. You know what I'm saying? Especially me being an artist myself, I definitely understand what you mean because I'm an engineer as well. So, but
okay,
yeah,
yeah. So the man, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's like, cause sometimes, cause as an artist, and this is what I had to learn creating music. Like sometimes it's okay to put something down and come back to it. Like, and a
for
lot of
sure.
times we don't want to put the shit down. Um, you know, and you just sometimes you can't hear it. You know, Sometimes you can't hear what need to be done next. Sometimes you can't think of what gotta go next, and you gotta put it down. But it's just sometimes it's hard to put it down
Hmm.
when you like, I swear it's there. Like feel like it's right there, but it's a learning process.
Yeah, 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 no, for sure. I agree. I agree. Okay, okay. What pushed you to launch Marijuana Advocate in 2021?
Man, okay, so like it just dawned on me, right? Like I had this epiphany about like life and how money gets spent and what be going on, and then like I was like, I wanted a brand that was pro women, right? You know, and most time when you watch women smoke and you hear about it, it's very frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I came up with it. I said, well, we put some lips on it, put a woman lips with the blunt, you know, we're gonna call it Pretty Pothead. And the reason why we named it Pretty Pothead is because, like I know, like everybody know that most men spend their money for women and most women spend men's money. So, you know, I just wanted to go straight to the horse's mouth, you know what I'm saying? And so to speak. Yeah, so that's how we came up with it, man. I wanted to represent a brand that represented, you know, uh me, and what I was about. So yeah.
So as a veteran, what's your take on medical marijuana for PTSD?
Oh man, listen, we need that. A lot of people need it because, alcoholism is 95% of the time most of PTSD, right? Like, um, it's trauma, you trying to drink and drown your trauma from, these different events. And that's more dangerous than anything. It's way more dangerous than fucking, just smoking a joint and relaxing. You know what I mean? So I feel like the government need to change the law and make it more accessible for veterans, at least in the way of medical.
Right. Okay. Um, so two more questions for you, man, before we wrap things up, man. What kind of legacy does God King June want to leave behind?
Self-made, you could do a legacy, right? Like I want to leave my kids, the mind frame, more than anything. They got to understand, how and why to do what we do and how. Life don't happen unless you grow. That's the only way life happens is if you grow. So, don't wait for opportunities. Go seek opportunities. And, you're going to grow like a giant.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay. So last question before we sign out and everything. If it's a kid
Mhm.
right now, if it's a kid right now from the bottoms and they're watching this interview right now, what would you tell them?
Don't ever give up on you. Anything you want in your mind is yours if you don't ever give up on you. That's what I tell 'em.
Okay. So before we sign out, go ahead and let everybody know where they can follow you on all social media platforms, where they can find your music and all the above.
Okay, okay. Yo, check me out. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, wherever, Twitch, anywhere. I probably got the account. God King June, that's GodKingJune. Go check out my last album. I dropped it last year, More Rich and Famous. That's MOOR, Rich, RICH, than THAN, Famous, FAMOS, right? Go check that out. I'm streaming everywhere you find music. Wherever you listen to your music, you can get it. Spotify, Apple, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, all of the above. Right. Check me out.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. So I definitely appreciate you coming on today, man. It's definitely a great interview. Everybody that's out there watching, y'all make sure y'all go stream his music, go support him in every which way possible,
So,
man.
yeah.
This guy, as y'all just seen, this guy's he's amazing, man. His thought process is different than a lot of people. So y'all make sure y'all go support him, man. We definitely need more people like him on this earth. So
I appreciate that.
yeah, for sure. So I appreciate you coming on as well. Anything else you want to say to the people before we get up out of here?
Man, one more thing. Man, follow me at Pretty Pothead on Instagram and go check out my shop, www.prettypotheadmerchandise.shop. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So everybody that's out there watching, we appreciate you all for watching another episode of Goat Talk here with my guy, God King June. Y'all go support him in every which way possible, and we'll see you all on the next episode. And we are out. Peace.
Man, peace.